Have you ever fight the Hood and just felt like this guy isn't dying? I'm not saying he's overpowered or anything. It's just that no matter what's happening in the fight, it feels like the Hood is somehow still alive. You get him low, he escapes. You catch him again and somehow he is still going. So today we are looking at the best 3 heroes to counter the Hood: Cloak Dagger, Wolverine and Iron Fist. And the data I'm using for these matchups come from Counterwatch current data, which is based on rank match. I will show you why each of those heroes work against the Hood and what you actually need to do to win. Let's start with Cloak Dagger because he's probably the safest counter on the list. And the funny thing is, you don't need to constantly attack the Hood to counter him. Your main job is actually to keeping your team alive. Because remember, the Hood wants to stay in the fight and slowly wear you down. So instead of chasing him around the map, you can make his job a lot harder by keeping the people he's trying to kill alive. He gets someone low, heal them. He tries to finish the kill, keep them alive. And suddenly, all that damage Hood just did doesn't matter. This is where Cloak Dagger becomes really annoying for him. You are not necessarily trying to win a straight 1v1 against the Hood. You are making sure he doesn't get the kills he needs to take over the fight. And once the Hood finally gets low and uses his escapes, and that's when you can switch things up. Cloak can come in and pressure him and help to finish the kill instead of letting him escape. So the basic idea is pretty simple. Don't force the fight against the Hood. Keep your team alive, wait for the right moment, and then help finish him when he's actually vulnerable. And that's why I think Cloak Dagger is such a good option for players who don't want to master something like Wolverine or Iron Fist to just deal with the Hood. You can play the matchups much more safely while still making the Hood life miserable. And according to the current Counterwatch matchups, it's not just the feeling either. Cloak Dagger are currently sitting in the number 1 against the Hood. So if you're looking for the easiest and safest option on the list, this is probably where I would start. Now, if you actually want to kill the Hood all by yourself, this is where Wolverine comes in. Because Wolverine isn't here to annoying the Hood, he's here to hunt him down. The first thing you want to do is build up your rage before committing. Wolverine gets stronger as rage goes up, and his damage is especially good against the high health target. Once you're ready, don't just run straight at the Hood. Get close using cover, or wait until he's already fighting someone else, and then use Vicious Rampage to close the distance and start the attack. Now here's the important part. You want to force the Hood to use his defensive abilities. If he throws out his barrier, don't waste your entire combo into him. Wait for that protection to end, then go back in. And once you have the opening, use Feral Leap. This is the ability that really starts the kill. Grab the Hood, slam him down, and now your basic attack becomes the Berserk Claw Strike for a few seconds. This is where you unload everything. Keep hitting him, don't stop after 1 or 2 attacks. Wolverine's damage scales with the target max health, which is exactly why he's so good against the vanguards. And if the Hood tries to fight back and burst you down, that's when your Undying Animals comes in. Activate it before you commit your final part of your combo, so you take less damage while you're finishing off. So the basic kill sequences: get your rage up, get kills, force out of the Hood defensive abilities, Vicious Rampage in, Feral Leap, then unload your Berserk Claw Strikes, and if he tries to fight back, use Undying Animals and keep going. The biggest mistake is letting the Hood escape after you are already committed, because if he gets his distance back, you're giving him exactly what he wants. So don't play Wolverine like you are trying to poke the Hood down. You're waiting for your opening, get on top of him, and then turning the fight into a close range brawl. And that's why Wolverine is such a good counter here. Cloak Dagger can keep the Hood from getting kills, but Wolverine can actually walk up to him and say you're dying now. Alright, and finally we have the Iron Fist. If the Wolverine is the guy who can chase the Hood down, Iron Fist is the guy who can make the fight completely miserable for the Hood. The main thing you want to do here is get into close range. Hood does not want someone sitting directly on top of him, especially when he can't freely use his defensive ability to escape. So don't jump in and start punching immediately. Wait for the Hood to use his defensive ability first. Once you see his protection goes down, that's your opening. Get on top of him and start using your punches to stay attached to him. And here's Iron Fist get really good against the vanguards. Even if the Hood enter the half-limit state, your Dragon defense can stand up. Yachi Chankuen deals person-based damage on the enemy maximum health. So against a big target like the Hood, those punches can add up very quickly. But Dragon defense is also a big survival tool. If the Hood start unloading damage into you, don't run away. Use Dragon defense to block the damages. Gain bonus health and then immediately turn that defense into more punches. That's the part you really want to get used to. Block his damage, turn it into health, then turn that health into more pressure. And when the Hood gets below the half health, that's when you can finish the job with Kondo Conlon kick. The kick deals significantly more damage against the target below half health, so don't waste it too early if you're trying to secure the kill. And if the Hood tries to escape, follow him. Iron Fist has enough mobility to keep the pressure going, and that's exactly what you want. Don't give the Hood time to rest. Heal back up and start fight again on his terms. So the basic game plan is pretty simple. Wait for his defense to cool down. Getting kills, use the dragon defense when you start fighting back. Turn that into Yan Chichoken. Keep the pressure on, and once he below half health, use Conlon kick to finish him. This is definitely the hardest of the three to play properly. But if you actually learn the Iron Fist, you don't need to wait for your team to kill the Hood. You can hunt him down by yourself. So which one you should actually pick? If you want the safest and easiest way to deal with the Hood, I go with Cloak Dagger. If you want to get there and kill him by yourself, Wolverine is the great choice. And Iron Fist is for players who want to be more aggressive and are confident with their mechanics. Pick the one that fits your play style, and next time you see the Hood, you might not feel miserable. If you want to become a shark, subscribe. Bye bye.